Hello and welcome to Pure and True Essentials. Today I'm going to show you how to make liquid soap. Liquid soap is a hot process soap making technique, and for a liquid soap we will be using potassium hydroxide. So far I've showed you how to make a cold process soap, and for cold process soap making we use sodium hydroxide. But this is going to be a slightly different approach. It's going to be a hot process soap making, it's going to be a liquid soap, and we are also going to be using potassium hydroxide. And this liquid soap can be used for dishwashing, for laundry, your hand soap, your shampoos. Possibilities are endless and you just have to be a little creative. I use it all around my household. So without much delay, let's get started. I plugged in my crock pot, turned the knob to low setting, and now I'm adding in my coconut oil. So my coconut oil is still solid, you can see that. So I'm adding in 1000 grams, which is approximately 35.27 ounces. So after I add all my measured coconut oil, I'm going to close the lid and let it melt. While it's still melting, let's get started with the lye water preparation. I'm adding in my distilled water that calls in my recipe. I'm measuring my distilled water here. And once I'm done with the distilled water, I'm adding in my glycerin. So why glycerin? Glycerin adds moisturizing qualities to the soap that we make. It also helps lather and emulsions our soap. So that's the reason why I'm adding glycerin here. So now adding my potassium hydroxide. You can see it is very different from sodium hydroxide. It's kind of flaky. So I'm adding the required amount called in my recipe. Now I'm going to add it to my water. Always add lye, that is the potassium hydroxide flakes, to the water. Never add water to the potassium hydroxide. And to avoid breathing in the fumes, I'm actually closing the lid and shaking it to get the flakes dissolved. We don't have to wait until it cools down like we do it in cold process soap. I added in my water and I'm using a stick blender to get it to trace. So I've been blending for about 5 minutes now, and you can see it's still not got a trace because the water that we added is still warm, the oil is still warm. So I'm blending and blending. So I'm stopping in between because I don't want my hand blender to get spoiled. I'm stopping and blending, stopping and blending. It's still liquidy, and I've been blending for 8 minutes now, but you can see that it suddenly turned into a different texture. It's got trace and it's slowly thickening. As you can see, there is a change in the consistency. It's getting thicker, and it's getting hard for me to use the stick blender, but I'm going to use it till I can. So I think this is the right consistency to take my stick blender out. So yes, so I'm bringing in my spatula to mix the soap batter. You can see it's manageable using a spatula. I will not be able to mix it using the stick blender. So I think I got the stick blender out at the perfect time. So I can't use the stick blender anymore, so I'm going to get all the soap into the crock pot and close the crock pot and set there for 40 minutes or 30 minutes and come back after 30 minutes. As you can see, it's got a lot solid. I'm using my rubber spatula, and let me show you how thick it's got. You see, it's pretty solid. Yep. I want to show you how hard it gets. Now I'm going to close the lid and let it cook for maybe 30 minutes. So it's been 40 minutes. Let's check how it is. You can see it's solid, but it's also cooked. I'm going to use a spatula to mix it and then again close it, wait for another 40 minutes. So this has been another 40 minutes. You can see it's got a little transparent on top. I'm mixing it. I'm going to close it and again come back after another 30-40 minutes and see how things are getting. So it's been another 40 minutes now. So you can see it's cooked. But it's very hard for me to handle it. But it's got transparent on the top, so it means it's cooking. That's what we're looking for. So I'm going to still try my best and mix it or knead it and then close it and set it up for another 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, you can see it's got very translucent. The color has changed from a solid color to a transparent color, but it has to get more transparent. So I'm going to do the same process. We have to repeat this process every 30 to 40 minutes. So it's altogether been 4 hours and 30 minutes, and I can see the soap is fully cooked, but looks can be deceiving sometimes, right? So how do you test your paste? You have to test your paste using dilution method. So you have to take twice the amount of water, hot water, and try to dissolve the soap in that. So here I've measured 2 ounces of hot water and 1 ounce of the soap batter, and I'm trying to mix it to see how it's getting dissolved. It's clear. Looks like I can get ready to dilute the whole soap. So I've measured 2,000 grams of water, distilled water, which is actually twice the amount of oil that I've used to make this paste. I've already heated it and it was boiling hot, and I poured it into the crock pot to dissolve. So I'm going to wait until it dissolves and cools down, and maybe next morning I will pour it into my container for storage. So I'm all set. I can use it for laundry, dishwashing, cleaning around the house, and I want you all to try it and leave your comments for doubts or any questions. If you really like what I'm doing, like, share and subscribe. See you next time. Bye. I will walk you through the process.